Hello guys and welcome to Ezzy UK, and today I have a second video which is a special video from the patch 9.13 test server. And the main feature of this new server is the Czechoslovakian tanks, and here is the tier 10, so let's start at tier 1 anyway. And the first one is the Kolohausenka, whatever that means. And it is just a box with an exhaust pipe and a turret wedged on top, and that is pretty much it. It's got about 14mm of armour everywhere. The next tank, it looks like the German tank. It's the LT VZ35. Not too bad. You got the bigger version at tier 3, which is the LT38. Tier 4, we get our first medium tank, which is the STVZ39, which is basically a bigger version of the last light tank. Tier 5 medium tank is this tank, which is starting to look like a proper tank rather than looking like a weird tank. Anyway, it's got this strange gun in the middle. Frontal turret armor is 50, 30 on the sides, 30 on the rear, and the same for the hull. And the next tank is the tier 6, the Skoda T25. This tank is much bigger, and it is just really tall. 50mm of armor all around the turret, well, roughly, besides the rear, which is 35, 50 on the front, 35 on the sides and rear of the hull. Half decent tank this. Quite a fast one as well, 60km/h top speed. Then we go into the T34-100, so it's a T34 chassis with a T34 turret, and then if you put on the right gun you can have the 85 or the 100mm, so it's basically the Russian T34, and that's in the tech tree at tier 7 for the medium tank. Not a bad tank either, can't be that bad because it's a T34. Then you go into a concept tank, which is the TVP VTU concept at tier 8, which is a half decent tank. Not much armour, it's only got 65 on the front of the turret and the hull, 40 on the side of the turret and hull, and 30 on the rear of the turret, and 40 on the rear of the hull. It's an okay tank. I think it's one of the slowest ones with a 50km/h top speed, but overall it's not a bad all-round tank. Tier 3. Sorry, not tier 3, tier 9, you've got the Skoda T50. And this tank is similar to all the other ones. It's sort of got this weird boxy shape, but the front hull is sloped, a bit like an IS-3, so it's got this big lower plate, which is quite weak. The armour on this tank is 100mm front, side and rear, so it's got a 100mm rear, which is sloped, which is pretty good, to be honest. The sides are basically flat. The turret is 65, sorry, that was the turret, I've done this the wrong way around. Hull armour, sorry, is 65 at the front, 40 at the sides, 40 at the rear. Turret armour is 100 at the front, 100 at the sides, 100 on the rear, which means I've done all of these values wrong. Oh well, you guys will figure out what I've been saying. So I do like this tank. I don't have a crew in it at the moment, but it is a fun tank to drive, and you can also get, as the top gun, a 100mm auto-loading gun, which only has a shell capacity of 3 items. Whereas the tier 10, on the other hand, has the same gun, but it has 4 shells in the container, in the magazine, sorry. And this is the tier 10, the TVP T50/51, which is a really nice tank to drive. I just absolutely love this tank. It's so smooth. It's just, I don't know how to explain it. It's a bit like the Centurion Action 10, except for I like this more because it's faster. It may have less armour, but the gun is just absolutely amazing. This gun is a 100mm auto-loading cannon. The reload time of this is 25 seconds to load 4 shells, but it can unload those 4 shells at 1.5 second intervals, so it reloads at 1.5 seconds per round, which means you can shoot anywhere between 7 and 8 rounds per minute in this tank, which is absolutely amazing. gun doesn't necessarily have the best penetrating values. 248mm for standard APCR, 310mm for heat, and 50 for high explosive. It's about 320 hit points average damage. If we have a look, dispersion 0.35 at 100 meters, but this is actually a close range tank because you got this auto loading gun. Aim time 2.1 seconds. This tank is just amazing. 1,800 hit points. It weighs about 40 tons. It has 1,000 horsepower in this engine at the back. 60 km/h top speed, 54 degrees per second traverse speed, but the turret traverse speed is only 36 degrees per second, which is a shame. It just means that when you turn the hull, the turret does not turn and stay on target. Hull armour 65 front, 40 sides and 30 rear. Turret armour 120 front, 80 sides, 60 rear, which isn't too bad. You can bounce a couple of shots. I bounced one off a T150 earlier today. The view range is very good, 410 meters, and with coated optics that does improve it, and the vents also improves the reload time of the gun. Signal range 850 meters, which isn't too bad. Besides this tank is very good. It is inaccurate aiming on the move. That's why I do have the vertical stabilizer, because you get through these rounds so quickly. 1.5 seconds a round is almost as fast as my AMX, what was it, AMX 1357 with the 57mm gun, which is 1 second per round. This tank, you can just pop up, surprise somebody at 60 km/h, shoot 4 rounds off, and just run. Put it this way, it takes 6 seconds to unload all 4 rounds from this gun, and then you can be gone. So it's not too bad. Besides that, it's only got 4 crew members. There isn't much more I can say. The camouflage, on the other hand, I do like. Don't really go into camouflage, but here is the winter camouflage. Show it. That's the winter camouflage there. I do really like that. It's some kind of scratched on effect. Then you've also got this one. Then you've got the standard, whatever camouflage this is, the summer camouflage. Is that desert? No, this is desert. And in desert you've got 2 options of these. I do like this one the most. That's why I've chosen it. But you do also have this one. And that is about it for this tank. And for once, I've actually done this pretty quickly. Overall thoughts on this tank is that it's quite smooth to play. Not as smooth as the Centurion Action 10, but it is a really, really smooth tank to play. Anyhow, it does have a log on the back because it's similar to Russian tanks. Looks very good in HD. I do like the tracks like this. Don't know if this is any spaced armour. I doubt it. This is a weak spot on the top here as well. So weak spots, we've got the commander's hatch, driver's viewport here, which is just tiny. You'd be lucky to hit that. Weak spots everywhere else is it's just generally thin armour, but there isn't really a commander's hatch as much as just this bit here. So if you are struggling to penetrate this, which is very unlikely, aim here or just aim at the hull, because even though it's sloped, it is pretty weak around here and here, so long as you don't bounce. Advice for people that are driving this tank: keep moving, I guess, would be some good advice. Keep moving, never stop. You're a lightly armoured tank, you can be one shot by a lot of the tank destroyers at tier 10. And now I am just rambling on because I've not got any more things to talk about, so let's go into a game and show this tank off to its best. So this is the 5th game that I played, the first one I recorded, and I'm on that map which I cannot remember the name. I think it's El Haluf, and I'm in the corner where the heavy tanks love to go and die. And I've chosen this spot to show you guys this tank because it just proves how annoying it is to enemy heavy tanks or even tank destroyers or light tanks, and how manoeuvrable it is. So I'm turning around and I'm going to go and shoot in the rear of this Jagdtiger, and this is the special surprise that this tank has. So I'm just going to aim the shot, aim. 1 shot, 2 shots, 3 shots, set him on fire, 4 shots, he's on fire, he's not going to die, but I've done over 1,000 damage in 4 shots. And that just goes to show how good this gun is. Anyway, I got to sit here for about 22 seconds to reload, but nope, somebody else has took out the Jagdtiger. Go on, and there we go, reloaded. 4 rounds back in the drum, ready to fire. So I'm going to go try and support this T110E3. And the accuracy is only 0.35, which isn't bad, but it isn't amazing. But there you go, I managed to miss a T49 from only about 50 meters away. Second shot doesn't miss, he splashes me, takes out my track. And then I'm going to just wait for my track to repair. They're not going to come around the corner because they don't dare face my gun or the T110's gun. Which is quite good actually. It's a bit like driving a Batchat, except for we've got lower alpha damage and slightly lower penetration, I think, or is it higher? I don't know. It's not quite as manoeuvrable, but this tank is still really nice to play. It's something special compared with the Batchat and other auto-loading tanks. Anyway, I'm retreating because I've just seen that the rest of my team up here are going to die. So I'm going to zoom off to the other part of the map and see if I can get any sniping kills sort of in the middle. And there we go, already at the top speed of 60 kilometers an hour. This tank shifts. It's a really fast tank, and it's got quite wide tracks, so the ground resistance isn't too bad, I don't think. But I'm not sure about the camo values. I will have to check that when the actual tank comes out in the game. But I reckon they're pretty good, a bit similar to what the Leopard has. Oh, there we go, Leopard shot me with premium ammunition because he doesn't know how to play. I don't manage to get 4 rounds into him, and he's only on 375 hit points left, so 2 more rounds should kill him. Except for I made the mistake of reversing rather than going forward and using the cover. So quickly turn and zoom away. He misses, which is lucky for me. Trying to get up to that maximum speed of 6 kilometers an hour. I've already reloaded. It didn't seem that long compared with other auto-loading tanks of this tier. Anyway, I'm going to head up here and try and give covering fire to the T110, but I'm being careful not to make any shortcuts, otherwise I'll be shot inside by some FV215 hidden on the other side of the map. Come round and I see the T57. He's going to take out the T110. No. And this is where I make the mistake. This tank is a good tank, but on low health like this, you can't take on a T57. I managed to get 1 shot in, 2nd shot in, 3rd shot bounces, 4th shot penetrates it, and there we go, I have to run. And the problem is the T57 is not exactly a slow tank. Well, it's slow compared to this, but I am going to struggle to outrun him, and the issue is I am spotted and there's an enemy tank destroyer around the corner, and here it comes. There we go, I'm dead. And that's just player error. It's not the tank's fault, it's my fault for rushing in and trying to show some good replay. Anyway, this is the results screen, and I did over 5,100 damage. And that's just from just playing this tank normally. I did a bit of spotting, I did a bit of close range shooting, I did a bit of other shooting, long range and things. Only 15 shots penetrated, but I did over 5,000 damage. Anyway, let's look at a second game.
Let's go.
And here we are, and I'm useless with map names. I can't remember the name of this map, but it does look like they've changed some sections of this map. Before, there used to be a sort of stream across this gap here where the T62 is about to go, but they've no longer put that in. They got rid of it, and it now goes through the middle of the cap circle. Well, not the middle of the cap circle, the middle of the spawn area, I should say. Anyway, I'm going to try some new tactics of a bit more spotting, and I'm going to go up the hill here. Knowing me, because I'm a new player, and you guys can probably play even better than me, I'm probably going to die up here. So I try and play it a bit cautious. The gun depression is not so good on this tank. I can't remember the value, but it seems to be only about 5 or 6, maybe even 7 degrees. Not the best gun depression in the world. And this will cause problems on maps such as this with the hills. You've got the nice manoeuvrability to pop up, but you don't have the gun depression to hide your weak hull against the enemy. As you just saw, I took a shot on the side from an E100, and that is because I couldn't just poke the gun over the top of the hill. Anyway, I'm going to go over here and try and get some side shots into the FV4005. Can I get over there? Well, I've got the speed, let's go. So I'm going to use this dip down here, the dip in the terrain, to try and get some shots in. I spot the enemy T5051 and I put a shot in and he dies with the help of the friendly team. The gun depression does mean I can't just go up on this hill a little bit, I have to use the flat around the side. And can I shoot into the FE? No I can't, which is a shame. Oh, there's another enemy tank, just popped up, another T50, got another one shot in, and for some reason I don't shoot and I just sort of waste a shot. Anyway, I'm going to back up. Ooh, managed to bounce a shot from something, I don't really know what it is. And the problem is here, the enemy T50 is spotting me. And I've just been hitting the gun. Oh, T110, no, I'm running. I repair the gun and I decide it's not worth staying here, I'm going to leg it. And this tank does this pretty well. It gets up to speed very quickly. We already hit the maximum speed just there, 60 kilometers an hour. Going to dip in here and hopefully I can maybe get a few shots into the FV4005, maybe even the FV215B. But because I'm a noob, I go around the corner, spot him, don't pull back in time, get one shot in, but he takes me out. The third and final game I recorded was me testing this tank out on Rampage and a bit more close quarter combat. But by this time I did get a bit too cocky with the tank and I started taking risks which you shouldn't really take, which led to me dying. But anyway, let's have a look at the replay. I managed to get one shot into the Object 140 and that is it. So I decided to go for the reload, play it safe, get 4 rounds into the magazine. Bit of jostling for the positions here, but I will be reloaded in just over 10 seconds. So, what should I do? So I decided to go left where the FV and the Jagdpanzer E100 are shooting at the IS-7, but as I just realised, I can't penetrate the IS-7 that easily with this gun. You can't even one-clip people with this tank. At tier 10, it only has 4 rounds which do an average damage of 320 damage or hit points. So let's call that 300, which means that you can only do about 1,200 hit points of damage with one magazine, which means you can't one clip a tank. Usually this damage is more like 900 for some reason, because you get about 250 average damage, but there we go, that's what happens. Missed a shot on the Batchat, which was a shame, but I decided to do what the Leopard was thinking, I'm going to jump onto the Batchat. Only problem is, Leopard pushes me off, I fall off, get one shot in, and leave him on 61 health, which means he manages to shoot me. I have to repair the tracks to get out of the way of the Leopard. Got a shot in the rear, he bounced off my front, got to reload. Batchat's run out, I've only got 8 seconds to reload. Being shot at from all angles now. But because I do have some armour, they don't do full damage. And then I end up getting taken out by an enemy tank. So anyway, as a bonus to this review, I'm going to have a look at the Skoda T50, the normal one. Because that is my second vehicle, which is the tier 9 medium tank. And the current setup is fully upgraded everything, and I even have the auto loading gun, which is very, very similar, if not the same, as the tier 10 gun. The only difference is it's 1.8 seconds per round, 22-second reload for the magazine, but you only get 3 rounds in the magazine, which is a shame, but it still does the job. The only problem is this enemy tank is now coming after me, so I'm going to have to leg it. Object 430 will easily kill me, except for he bounced. This tank does side scrape pretty well for some reason, and I don't know why that is. Manages to get another shot in. Am I going to reload in time? Yep, there we go. 1 shot, 2 shots. Third shot bounces, which does cause an issue because I could kill him. Okay, I managed to take another shot. I keep ramming him. He manages to only take out my track because the tracks do take up the whole side of the tank. This does mean, however, your tracks do absorb shots just like Ben, which means you can be quite lucky. I managed to get another shot in this guy. Manages to actually penetrate that time. Second shot misses, and because I'm a noob and I don't let him come around the corner, third shot tracks him, and he's just going to kill me. I'm only on 1 hit point. He's easily going to kill me, and I've got... what's this? I've got 12 seconds to reload left, and there we go. That is the end of that. Overall thoughts of this tank from playing it is it's a pretty well balanced tank. It's not as nice to drive as the Centurion Action 10. That is the smoothest tank I know. That tank is just really, really nice. But this tank, on the other hand, I would prefer to own. It's a bit more difficult to play. It's not as smooth, but I do like this tank because of that auto-loading gun. It may not always work, but who cares? It's a really nice tank, and I hate the back chat. There are my overall thoughts. I would recommend that you do have a look at this tank, and if you do want to get it, I've worked out the for XP you need up to tier 9 is 400,000 XP minimum, which is a fair bit, so I'm going to have to start saving up ready for when this tank comes out. Don't really have any more thoughts about it. It's just a nice tank to play. It's a bit like the Centurion Action 10 where I didn't have anything to say. It's just generally a nice tank to play. Not as smooth as I've said, but I do like it for the auto-loading gun. So that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll leave a link to the test server in the video description below. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment in the section below, and I'll see you guys next time.